watching Where Are They Now with your host, Dianne Hart. Now here's Dianne.
Good evening. Welcome to Where Are They Now. I'm your host, Dianne Hart. This evening, I have the pleasure of interviewing a man of many talents, an actor, a composer, a singer, a songwriter, a musician, Mr. David Winans II. Evening, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Happy to be here.
Same here, Dianne.
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity to interview you. So let's jump in and get started. So where are you from?
Born and raised in Detroit.
Let's talk a little bit about that. What schools did you attend?
Let's see if my memory prevails. I attended Hamilton Elementary, Pasture Elementary, Hampton Junior High, Mumford High, Los Angeles Community College, and University of Phoenix.
You've been all around. So now let's talk a little bit about your college. Majored in some music or?
Well, I was in music theory. Music theory was my major. And I had moved out to Los Angeles. So this was circa 73, 74. And whilst in college, like I said, I had music theory. So I had vocals and I was a violist. So I was like first chair viola for the orchestra.
Oh, okay. So how old were you when you started in music?
4 or 5, I think. I can't remember back that far.
You come from a musical family, am I correct?
Yes, very musical family.
Who all plays?
Who all plays?
Or plays?
Well, I think everybody in the family plays piano. Because we had one at the house. So, but a couple of us played violin while we were in high school. Myself, I think Ronald played, and maybe Marvin. And that's all I can think of right now.
How about your parents? Did either one of them play?
Oh, well, they both played. My mom played piano, yes, and sing. And my dad sings, and he played saxophone and guitar, little guitar, very little guitar. But that's where I got it from.
So now, if you started playing when you were 4, when do you think was the first time you played professionally or before a crowd of people? Or were you playing before a crowd of 4?
Yeah, we played at church, so there was always a crowd at church. So I'd say probably 7, 8 years old. I don't think I did anything. Have we formed a group when I was 5? No. That would be around the 8, 9, 10 years where we formed the quartet, the Winans, under my father's jurisdiction.
So did you all travel around the city or?
Yeah, we traveled around the city. We did basically church convocations. We'd go to Bishop Bailey's church, who had the Clark sisters. And then we'd go over to, we were all from Mack Avenue, which is Zion Congregational Church of God in Christ, which was founded by my great-grandfather. So, yes, and plus we went out of town. We'd go to like Chicago and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania for convocations and church programs, and we'd perform there. So, yeah.
So when was the first time you think you got a paycheck for doing it, or were you all getting paid?
No, we weren't getting paid. We were slave labor back then.
So when did you think you got your first paycheck?
That didn't happen until the teens, and in my teens, I believe. I played guitar for a jazz blues singer, Belita Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I played with her for a few, and that would have been my first professional, quote, paycheck. But it wasn't a check, it was cash.
Like back then, they weren't using paper checks.
No, they were using, but they weren't paying musicians with paper checks. You usually had to pay a paper check to the union or something back then.
Okay.
But yeah, Belita Woods would have been my first professional payment.
So let's talk a little bit about who were some of your influencers. I'm sure your parents were, but outside of family, who else played a part in influencing your life?
My life musically? Well, outside of who was the gospel? Well, like I said, at the beginning, we were basically quartets. So I was influenced by, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, the Violinaires, Dixie Hummingbirds, and the Five Blind Boys from Name a State.
Mississippi.
I said name a state. There's five blind boys in about 5 or 6 states. So that I was influenced classically by Mozart and Beethoven, the masters on that stuff, and Stravinsky. And then I was influenced by a lot of rock people. So the Beatles were an influence on me. Yes was an influence. King Crimson, Genesis, The Gentle Giant, and I can go on and on about that in the rock realm.
So you had a lot of people to influence your music.
Yes. And you take a little bit, I take a little bit from everyone. Also, a very heavy influence on me was my cousin, Beverly Glenn. She had a concert chorale, and she was a phenomenal organist. It was between her and Twinkie, I think Beverly wins.
Okay. So do you write your own music?
Yes, I do. I've been writing my own music since I was 15, 16.
Tell me, when do you think you are the most creative? Is there a particular time of the day? For me, it's when I'm driving. I tend to, my wheels turn best for me. But when do you think you're the most creative?
Probably when I'm asleep. A lot of stuff happens in your sleep and you try to remember what happens. But basically, it depends on the situation. I could be or the atmosphere. If I'm at a gathering and something peeps out, or if someone says something, different quotes, books, it just depends on, you can never call it.
Right.
I don't think. Yeah. So there's not exactly a specific time or date. It just happens like stream of consciousness, stream of living.
Do you go to bed with a recorder next to the bed? Or your phone?
No, I tried that. It
didn't work?
No. If you either roll over and push the button, or something happens, or you fall asleep. And
So do you write for others?
Not really. Have I written with people in mind? Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes I visualize a vocalist that I'd like to do something. I wrote a song, but basically I write my own stuff and I'll send it out to different people. Or if I think someone that's not in my ilk can record it, I'll try and send it in that way. And I rarely collaborate.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, when I had a band in Los Angeles in the early 80s called Xairia. It was a progressive rock band. And my bass player, his name was Clarence Malone. Veach was his nickname. We collaborated on a whole lot of stuff. And I wrote a rock opera called The Adventures of Danny X. Duggins. So that was like a conceptual album, but never got really recorded correctly. Because back then, I don't know if a lot of people know this, when you're paying for your own studio time, it's kind of hard. And especially if you're paying for rehearsals and stuff like that. So unless you come from a bunch of money to spend like that, you try and record your songs best as possible to get them out there. So not having money to go into a studio for like 12 hours and book out time and become creative that way, you had to like write at home, run to the studio, or record it at home, which we did back then, like on cassettes. Or reel-to-reel tape. Before you got to the studio, use the big tape. But now we're in an age where there is no tape, right? Everything's basically digital. So we're in a digital age now, and back then it was analog. So, yeah, that's how that went.
Is there somebody in particular that you have performed with or that you've opened up for?
Well, yeah, my group before Xairia, I had a group called Damon Wisp, and we had left Detroit. Basically, my players or the band members were from here in Grosse Pointe. And we went to Los Angeles. And we ended up with a production company who put on a concert in Tempe, Arizona at Arizona State. And we opened up for Marvin Gaye.
Oh, my favorite.
Yes. So it was Marvin Gaye. And who else was on that? I think a group called Malo, they had Santana's brother was in that group. And a guy named Kenny Rankin, who was a folk artist back in the day. We'll call this all back in the day.
Okay.
And we opened for them at Tempe, Arizona State. So that was a big stage and big concert, outdoor concert. So that was very exciting. Have I opened up for anyone else? Yeah, I've opened up for a few people. My band Xairia, we opened up for a group called Berlin at the Troubadour, the famous Troubadour in Los Angeles. Now, you probably don't know who Berlin is.
No.
Berlin ended up getting a song on the movie. I want to say anyway, the name of the song was Take My Breath Away. You know the song. What movie was that in?
Trying to remember. I didn't know that was a group called Berlin that actually did that song.
Yes, they opened up for me.
Oh.
In Los Angeles, at the Troubadour. Yeah. Berlin's area. I remember, what's her name? Virginia or Vanessa. She was the lead singer for Berlin. So that's how that went.
So let me ask you this. Have you traveled a lot around the world or?
Well, I traveled before we did our family tour. So I had gone on my own to get out of Detroit because everything here was Motown. And like I said, I worked at Cobo Hall, so I was an usher, and I met a lot of the British rockers that came into town. So they requested I come to London, to England. So got a flight and went to Paris and London, and I thought I was going to live there, but I came back to Detroit. Thus, then when I got back here, there was nothing happening, and I moved my way to Los Angeles, where I spent a good deal of time. Now, when we came up with the family tour, the Winans family tour, which had all of us in it, we did the States first, and then we went overseas. So out of that, my favorite, we played God Bless Us, that we played at Royal Albert Hall in London, which was a major venue. And I think another good show we did was at The Hague in the Netherlands. And then back here, we did the Greek Theater in Los Angeles and a host of others. Well, here, I think we did the Fox. We did all the Fox theaters too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did Detroit Fox, St. Louis Fox, Atlanta Fox.
You've been busy.
Yeah, we were kind of busy.
Which was a good thing, right?
Yeah, it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing. I'm trying to get busy again.
I know, that's right. So let me ask you this. Do you have any new music coming out?
Yes. Hopefully by mid-26. There should be another Pie album coming out.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break and we're going to play a song that you wrote. When we come back, I'll ask you a little bit about the song and where did it come from. Okay.
Okay, you got it.
We're going to take a break and we're going to listen to Thank You for Saving Me. Hi, this is Dianne Hart. Be sure to catch my shows, The Opening Statement, as we interview politicians and special guests on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on the Lit TV network on Roku. Also, watch Where Are They Now as I interview entertainers of yesterday and today on Detroit Hot TV at 7